The controversial US military contractor, formerly known as Blackwater, is to stump up $7.5 million to avoid criminal prosecution. It had faced 17 charges relating to arms smuggling and other crimes. But now the Department of Justice says it'll defer prosecution if the firm, now called Academi LCC, pays a fine to the government. Well, the company's previously been the source of strained relations between the US and Iraq after 5 of its guards were accused of killing 14 unarmed civilians in Baghdad 5 years ago. Let's now talk to Anthony Shaffer. He's a retired US Army Lieutenant Colonel who's now a senior fellow at the Center for Advanced Defense Studies. Well, what do you make of this deal?
Well, I think everybody involved wants it to go away very quietly. As you recognize from the fact that Blackwater changed its name to Z and then tried to press on, is indicative of the fact that these folks, I think really both sides, wanted to kind of subside and go away quietly. The bottom line, the real issue, obviously, is that these are essentially a group of mercenaries who were hired to do things which, essentially in a high-risk environment, things can go wrong. I and others who wear the uniform have been very critical of the entire concept of bringing in essentially mercenaries to do the work that uniformed military soldiers should do. And let me be very clear here. If you're wearing the uniform of your country, you take an oath of responsibility and to that country and to the concepts and precepts of that governance. Blackwater and other mercenaries do not have any such oath they take, and I think by the fact that they are unrestrained by these the oath of office, if you will, they are more apt to do acts, bad acts, as you saw in Iraq. So this is one of those issues which I think has not been fully examined to the interest of everybody. Well,
talking about the interests also of the US's reputation abroad, I mean, what does that do?
Well, obviously, we're still trying to recover from the bad acts in Iraq. Again, let me be very clear here. People like me do swear an oath to become a member of our military force to do the things necessary to maintain the peace. Whether you agreed with Iraq or not, once you're there, you have certain ideals that you have to put forward as a representative of your country. If you're killing, even if you engage in an act which the perception is you're killing civilians, that's bad. And these folks went beyond that. I think actually it was proven, at least in the public, in the court of public opinion, that they acted without regard to self-restraint and thereby damaging both the reputation of the United States and frankly, the reputation of Blackwater to the point of where it had to change its name multiple times.
But you said a bit earlier this is all a bit embarrassing in a way it all wants to be brushed under the carpet. But by the fact that this company is being let off just by simply paying a fine, which probably doesn't have a big impact on the profits it's making, do you think that there is some sort of special relationship going on that this company can simply pay its way out of this embarrassment?
I think it's a bad course of action by the U.S. government, by the Obama administration, who came in talking about accountability. Look, people died here, and yet you're giving a fine to the company. You just talked about airlines in your preface to this, airlines not doing the right thing to maintain public safety. My goodness, you would hold an airline accountable for bad acts. Why would you not hold accountable a group of mercenaries for equally, if not even worse, bad acts where people died? So it's a bad course to set, and frankly, it is nothing more than a bunch of money from a company and no one is going to be held accountable. So I think it's very bad all around that they're not seeking accountability. Again, criminal accountability. I cannot believe you're actually paying a bill to get out of criminal allegations. That's a very bad precedent to set.
Can we be sure that no future violations will be incurred?
Absolutely not. That's one of the issues, again, where I'm critical of the whole process of bringing in contract mercenaries, if you will, to conduct military operations in a foreign environment. You have less capability of accountability, and frankly, I work with our Congress here all the time, and I've been a big proponent of Congress interceding in this, saying you cannot send mercenaries to do an act where someone who has taken the oath of office should be sent to conduct military action. It's bad regarding economics. It's bad regarding accountability. In many ways, organizations like our Central Intelligence Agency use mercenaries to get around congressional oversight, which again is not good for anybody if they do that.
Anthony Shaffer, thank you very much indeed. Retired US Army Lieutenant Colonel. Thanks for your thoughts live here on RT.